welcome back Summoners, MBI here. I'm going to be bringing you another LoL news update. In this episode we're going to be breaking down Group D. What's Group D? Well, she wants the D, we know that. But other than that, Group D is going to be for the League of Legends World Championship. So earlier, or a couple months ago, we had the World Cup. I'm sure you guys are all aware of the big football thing where everyone's celebrating getting drunk. And now we have the League of Legends World Championship, even bigger than the World Cup. So in this episode, we're going to be breaking down who's going to be in Group D, the teams, who's going to be playing for the teams, where they come from, what happened to them last season. Going to be using some video gameplay from YouTube or some of their games. I'm going to bring down all that good stuff. So if you guys are interested, stay tuned and get your popcorn. If you guys don't want to know who's in Group D, then you're not going to be getting any D. So we have 4 teams that are going to make up Group D. We have Alliance, CloudNine, KaBuM eSports, and finally Najin White Shield. The first team we're going to look at is Alliance. I'm sure most of you guys are aware of Alliance. They're a team from the EU West playing in the EU LCS. They didn't win the league this season. They are relatively new to the competitive scene. Formerly Froggen, the leader, was part of CLG EU before it got separated with some of the players coming over to North America. Froggen was able to have the chance to handpick his team, which had a bit of trouble when they started off. They weren't doing too well, but by the end of the season, they polished up, were able to make it up into the playoffs, facing against SK Gaming in the semi-finals, winning a 3-1 close series there, before going to meet Fnatic in the finals and beating them 3-1. Alliance, the first team to win the EU LCS other than Fnatic, giving them a good bit of pump gun into the Worlds. So, Alliance's team is made up of their top laner, Wicked, the jungle, Shook, mid, Froggen, AD carry, Tabs, and their support, Nif. To give you a little idea of how they performed in the EU summer split, we have Froggen come second place in the kill to death assist ratio with 7.3. Tabs and Froggen both finished 4th and 5th respectively on 399 gold per minute over the whole EU summer split. We had the average goal per game with Tabs finishing 3rd and Froggen finishing 4th, both with 16k average a game. And finally, with the season total kills, Tabs actually comes 2nd in that with 143. As you can see out during the whole EU summer split, they were certainly bringing out a lot of action, coming up with top of the charts, and obviously they ended up winning the playoffs, making them really the best team in Europe as it's going to be crowned. So do you think Alliance will be able to get out of this Group D? We'll soon be able to find out. If you guys are interested in watching Alliance, you can tune into their games over at LoL eSports or find the link at leagueoflegends.com. Their first game is going to be kicking off versus CloudNine on Thursday the 25th of September, and that's going to be at 1 o'clock. I believe that could be English time. I'm not 100% sure, that's what I'm going by. We then have them playing on Friday, which is the 26th of September versus Najin White Shield. That's at 10 o'clock, and they finally have their last group game versus KaBuM eSports, and that's going to be taking place on Friday 26th of September at 2 o'clock. Do you think Alliance are going to be able to take the Worlds by storms? They certainly were able to take the EU LCS by storm, winning the playoffs. There's only going to be one way to find out. So the second team to be forming part of Group D is CloudNine. CloudNine reign from North America. I'm sure many of you guys are aware of them. They've been very dominant over in that league, winning last year's summer split, along with taking the playoffs and going to Worlds South. This season, they were able to take the number 1 seed again, only by drawing 18-10 with Alan Q, both on the same record, meaning they went into a tiebreaker which Cloud9 were able to take, making them automatically placed into the semi-finals of the split, where they set up to face against Team Curse, making light work of them, winning 3-0 in that series, which set up the big game, the grand finale, TSM vs Cloud9 in the final, for the 3rd consecutive split. And in the previous splits, Cloud9 have never dropped a game until this series, where they were to lose 3-2 to TSM. So the once dominant Cloud9, will they be so dominant going into the Worlds? I'm sure they're going to have a lot of confidence. They were a bit shaky at the start of the season with their main playmaker High suffered a collapsed lung, and the unfortunate event contributed to the rusty team dynamics during the first part of the summer. But they seemed to pick themselves up. Like I say, they were unable to earn the #1 overall seed, and the games versus TSM were very close. Maybe it was just TSM now finally clicking after all their roster changes and starting to become the better team. Who knows? It's going to be interesting seeing them go into Worlds anyway. So looking at Cloud9's team, we have their top laner, Bulls, the jungler, Meteos, the mid laner, High, AD carry, Sneaky, and their support, Lemonation. All the same players that were founded in the original Cloud9 in December 2012. In Season 3, last season, Cloud9 were dominant. They won 25 games, losing Season 3 in the regular season until they went up into Worlds and they were knocked out in the quarterfinals with a disappointing first round loss to Fnatic. So for all you Cloud9 fans out there wanting to know when you can catch Cloud9 playing, they kick off their first game versus Alliance on Thursday the 25th of September at 1 o'clock. They then move on to their second game versus KaBuM eSports, that's on Thursday the 25th of September again, this time at 3 o'clock, and their last game will be against Najin White Shield, 12 o'clock on Friday the 26th of September. Third team to enter into Group D is KaBuM eSports. This is the first time I've actually heard of this team. They're a Brazilian team. They were underdogs for the whole season. They had a very rough time from the sounds of things, finishing 4th overall with a 50% regular season record. So even though KaBuM had a rough time in the Brazilian Championship League, they were still able to make it into the Brazilian Regional Finals. But going into the semi-finals, they were paired against Brazilian-powered Kate Stars, where they were gone to win those games 2-0, making it into the finals to play against CMB Esports Club, another big team in Brazil with some mixed Korea/Brazilian roster. The KaBuM showed excellent teamwork and mechanical play to defeat them 3-1. So through winning the Brazil Regional Finals, they were able to enter into the International Wildcard Tournament at PAX Prime, where KaBuM proved they were stronger in every factor of the game and defeated the multinational team PAX with relative ease, 3-0 in the series, obviously meaning that they are able to come on to the Worlds now. So who makes up KaBuM's team? Well, I may get the names wrong here, as I've never heard these players before, and I generally mix up things, so I do apologise for that. If you can correct me in the comments and call me a noob if you want. So their top laner is AWP, their jungle, Angaron, their mid laner, Tin Owns, the AD carry, Minerva, and finally their support, Dans. Again, I do apologise if I've pronounced their names wrong. I've never heard of these players before, as I've never watched the Brazilian League before, but through watching some of their gameplays up on YouTube, they seem like a very exciting team, and they're certainly going to bring some action into this Group D. So for any of you guys interested in catching KaBuM's games, they kick off on Thursday 25th of September at 11 o'clock versus Najin White Shield for their first game. Their second game is on Thursday 25th of September at 3 o'clock going against Cloud9, and their final and third game is against Alliance that would take place at 2 o'clock on Friday the 26th of September. So the final team that's going to be making up Group D is Najin White Shield. They've shown consistency throughout the 2014 split, and that they finished in the top 8 of the OGN Championships in each of the 3 seasons. They began the year by finishing 4th in the OGN Winter, losing out to Samsung Own in the semi-finals, and then also losing out in the 3rd place matchup to KT Rolster Bullets, in which they lost 3-1. After a disappointing finish to an otherwise solid season, Jungler Watch transferred over from Najin Blacksword to help improve Shield, after the previous jungler, Nofo, retired. This actually helped them improve dramatically in the OGN Spring, and finished second to Samsung Boo, barely losing out in the finals. Unfortunately in OGN Summer, Shield only managed to get to the quarterfinals, where they lost to eventual champions KT Roster Arrows 2-3, but this wouldn't be the last time the two teams played this season. Najin White Shield had one of the most impressive runs throughout the Korean regional gauntlet in history. They began by dismantling their struggling KT Bullets lineup 3-0. Their next matchup was against the reigning OGN champions KT Arrows, a team that had defeated Shield only a week previously. Shield dominated the defending champions 3-0 with only one close game. Finally, Shield defeated the defending world champions SK Telecom T1K 3-1 in the last match of the regionals to make Worlds. Whilst inconsistent in the 3rd season OGN, they come into the Worlds as the hottest team in the tournament. So who makes up Najin White Shield's team? Again, I apologise if I get any of the names wrong. We have their top laner Save, their jungler Watch, the mid KaBuM, AD carry Zephyr, and their support Gorilla. So if you want to know when you can catch Najin White Shield playing, they kick off at 11 o'clock on Thursday 25th September versus KaBuM eSports. Their second end game is on Friday the 26th of September at 10 o'clock in the morning versus Alliance, and finally their third game is going to be against CloudNine on Friday the 26th of September at 12 o'clock. Who's going to be winning Group D then? The prediction from Riot on the League of Legends website is Najin White Shield are going to be taking first place and CloudNine taking second place. So only two teams are going to be able to come through this group, meaning that they think Alliance will come third and KaBuM will come fourth. Certainly every game is going to be different, it's going to be very tight. I really can't imagine a situation where Najin White Shield don't qualify, and to be honest, I really think CloudNine are going to get through as well. But on top of that, Alliance did win the playoffs in the EU, so there's certainly a chance they're going to bring it down, and Froggen, in my opinion, is one of the best mid laners in the whole world, so I'm sure that he's going to be bringing some hurt. Whilst for KaBuM, I've not really heard of them myself, and I can't really see them troubling Cloud9 Alliance or Najin that much, but again, I could be proven wrong. Every game's different, it's one of the players' mindsets, they've only got one game versus each other, so it's certainly going to be interesting. So that's going to bring an end to the video now, guys. Hopefully you found what I've told you useful regarding what's going to be taking place in Group D. I'm going to be looking at making videos for the other groups. If you want me to include more information, if you have missed something out, if you've got any comments, let me know in the comment section below and I'll get back to you when I can. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take it easy. Have a great day. Peace. GG to you guys that have made it this far. You earn yourself a cookie, nom nom nom. You now have the option to click onto some of my previous videos. Clicking on the top lane will take you to a playlist of all my top lane videos that I've made, over 150, including champions like Nasus, Renekton, Garen, Zed, Teemo. Click on my Nasus guide, you'll find out how to play Nasus like myself. Mid lane takes you to a playlist of all the mid laners I've played, Lux, Kassadin, Valkos, many more, and all the pentakills for the pentakill playlist, along with some kill compilations and some pro plays in there. Enjoy, have a good day, peace.